Hello everyone, Wade from High Tech Legion here, and behind me is the Corsair Carbide Series 200R mid-tower computer case. In this video we'll be giving you an overview. Of course we'll also do a component installation video of the case. The Carbide Series 200R is designed to have nice sleek clean lines, but you can also have the expandability to put any kind of gaming system you'd like into it. So let's take a look. So here we have the front panel of the Corsair 200R computer case. You can see we got two USB 3.0 super speed ports here, our headphone jack, microphone jack, a reset switch, and our hard drive indicator light, as well as our power switch, which has the power indicator light embedded right in it. We've got three 5¼ inch drive bays here that are external, so you can install optical disc drives or a fan controller or something along those lines in it. The front bezel is made of plastic, and the rest of the case is steel. Behind this panel here, we've got a spot for two 120mm fans. They do include one 120mm fan, and our Corsair logo here. I will be pulling the front bezel off just to show you those fans while I'm showing you the interior of the case. So here we have the main side panel here. You can also see that there's some ventilation here, which also has some mesh behind it for filtering dust out. This is where the air is going to intake for those front fans. On the side panel, we've got mounts here for two 120mm or 140mm fans. They've put rubber grommets in to reduce the vibration. If you're using 140mm fans, of course you can move these into the 140mm holes that are provided. Everything is screwed on with thumb screws, so we've got two thumb screws on the back holding this side panel on. So here we have the top, and you can see that there's plenty of mesh ventilation up here. We have spots here for mounting two fans, 120mm or 140mm. Again, they've included the rubber grommets to help reduce the vibration and keep the noise down. There is not really enough room to put a radiator in here, though with some modification maybe you can get it to work. So here we have the bottom of the case, and the case feet are steel, molded right into the steel, so they're not going to break off. And you've got rubber pads here to keep them from slipping. On the bottom, you've got a 140mm, 120mm fan mounting spot here, so you can have air blowing up and to exhaust out the top of the case if you'd like. And you have a removable dust filter here for the power supply intake. These right here are actually part of the hard drive cage mount on the interior of the case. So let's take a look at the inside. So here we have the interior of the Corsair 200R. We've got our 120mm fan exhausting air out the rear of the case. Our motherboard I/O tray. The fan does have a 3-pin connector on it. And then you have 7 expansion slots here, and they're all held in with thumb screws so that they're easy to work with. Your bottom mount power supply with its ventilation and dust filter on it. And on the motherboard tray we have a large CPU heatsink cutout, as well as the pre-installed standoffs for an ATX, and you can also install micro ATX into this case. You've got some cable management areas here. They don't have any rubber grommets on them, but they are smooth, so you're not going to slice your fingers or your cables open and end up shorting out anything. Here, again, this is where the 120mm or 140mm fan will mount so that you can blow air up in the case. You've got your hard drive bays here for 2.5-inch drive bays, as well as for 3.5-inch drive bays. The 3.5-inch drive bays are toolless. You just flex them out, similar to up here where we have our 5.25-inch drive bays. You flex them out, slide your 5.25-inch devices into the front of the case, and then push them in until they click into place. Here we have our front I/O panel connections for our hard drive LED, power LED, reset switch, power switch, HD audio, and USB 3.0. One thing that you'll notice about the USB 3 cable is that they are flat, so they're easier to flex, and they also are easier to run through the cable management holes. Right here is our 120mm fan that will be pulling air into the case, and it is located in a place where it's directly blowing air right at your GPU to help keep that cool. On the other side of the motherboard tray, you can see the cable management holes a little bit better and the CPU heatsink cutout. You'll also notice that there are some places where you can use zip ties to tie down your cables to and keep them nice and neat. They've pre-routed a lot of your I/O panel in through the front, though if you pull this back out you can reroute it through one of these bottom two holes probably and have a little bit neater build. Right here will be the rear of your hard drives, so you'll be connecting your cables into here, and there's definitely plenty of room here to keep those cables nice and neat. Again, we've got a 3-pin header here for our front intake fan, and the other side of our 5¼ inch drive bays, so you can get to that side as well, of course. There is some room here behind the motherboard tray, enough for power supply cables and everything, but you'll definitely have to keep it fairly neat to be able to fit that side panel on nicely. Finally, we have our accessories that are included with the 200R. Corsair sends them in a nice little cardboard box here, and the insides include some zip ties for cable management purposes, as well as your screws for your motherboard, additional fan mounts with the rubber grommets to reduce vibrations, the fan mounts for the front fan, and screws to put your SSDs in place. This has been an overview of the Corsair 200R mid-tower computer case. As I said, it's definitely a very stealthy looking case, and one thing Corsair definitely paid attention to was the quality of the steel, paint, and cables in this case. So now I'll be doing a component installation, and be sure to check that out, as well as the full review at hightechlegion.com, and subscribe to our Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube channels. Thanks. Take care.